Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
What do you mean when you say these people?
You know, I watch a lot of television.
You know exactly what you mean.
The news, and I see that these are the type of men that are criminals.
In my courtroom, it's about equity and fairness. Stop. Is that true? I don't want you to understand. I want you to overstand.
Yes, sir.
That's why they pay me the big bucks. Justice should be more than just some foreign concept. I actually want you to learn something. That's not gonna happen. Not up in here, not today. And boom goes the dynamite.
Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Howard Collins claims he was arrested because his cousin's neighbor falsely accused him of being a prowler and says he was injured while he was in jail. Mr. Collins is suing Sally Brighton in the amount of $2,050.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties have been sworn, Your Honor.
Third Deputy Thomas. Talk to me, Mr. Collins. What's going on here?
So I'm here today because my cousin's neighbor over here called the cops on me and got me arrested.
And your feeling is she did that intentionally?
She definitely did that intentionally.
No, sir.
She met me and I was house sitting for my cousin and I forgot the keys and I'm just trying to get in and she called the cops on me.
That's not the case.
You did call the police?
Oh, yes, I did call the police.
The police did come out?
Yes, they did.
Someone was arrested?
Yes.
That person, that someone is the plaintiff?
I assume so, since we're here today.
Well, what else would you assume as to why you're here?
I had nothing to do with this. I saw somebody breaking into my neighbor's house.
Your Honor, she met me before.
Let me let her finish. You
and being a very conscious neighbor, which I have been there for many years, I watch out for the neighborhood. And I saw somebody breaking into the neighbor's house.
What did you see?
He was jiggling on the doorknobs and trying to go through the windows, and I got extremely frightened.
How long did you make these observations?
Not that long. I mean, I watched him go.
2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
Yes, probably about 5 minutes or so, going from place to place, looking, and it frightened me.
What time of night was this, or day?
It was dark already, so.
After a PM hour, 5, 6, 7? 7-ish?
7-ish, yeah.
And what was it about this that caught your attention? In other words, were you preoccupied and then you heard a noise? Or
Yes,
were you just
I heard a noise.
Looking out and you happened to see it? Talk to me.
Yes, I heard a noise. And so when I went to the window, that's when I saw him trying to break in. And it scared me, and I thought, well, if he's going to break in there, he could be breaking into my house next.
Do you live alone?
Yes.
Had there been any problems with break-ins prior?
No, but there's been some changes in my neighborhood over the last few years.
Talk to me about the changes.
There's just been a lot of different generation
people
moving into
a lot of black people. That's
my
what she's saying.
And
you think this is about race?
I 100% think it's about race.
No, sir, I'm not.
There are things that are about race. There are things that have nothing to do with race. The question is, which category does this situation fall in? Now, with you, Mr. Collins, it's about race because?
Because she met me. She knew that I was house sitting. My cousin actually used this app that let everyone. Is this the cousin? This is my cousin.
Come on up, sir. And what's your last name?
Mr. Douglas, Your Honor.
Mr. Douglas, you're the reason that we're in this pickle.
Partly,
because it's
Your
your
Honor.
house, right?
It is.
What's your proximity in relation to Ms. Brighton's property?
We are neighbors, Your Honor.
Neighbors as in right next door to each other?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. When you first moved in, did you meet Ms. Brighton?
Yes, Your Honor.
How is it that you all ended up meeting? Did she approach you? Did you approach her? Did you just both happen to be outside?
No,
and say,
Your
hey,
Honor.
I'm the new neighbor?
My cousin, he came down to help move me in.
Yes.
And it was the same day, decided to go right next door and introduce ourselves.
You made a decision to go next door.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you took Mr. Collins with you when you
Yes.
went next door.
Yes,
you
I did.
recall?
No.
Mr. Douglas?
I don't recall meeting him. I don't recall them coming
Well, he
over.
hasn't been there. Okay, well, at some point you met Mr. Douglas.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
When did you meet him? When do you remember meeting him?
Oh, well, he was outside doing yard work.
Okay.
And was just making a total mess
That's false, Your Honor.
of the neighborhood.
Was there a situation? Well, wait, if he's doing yard work, how is he making a mess?
Well, because he left
Exactly.
baggage out on the roadway, and we don't leave baggage
Where you're
out on the
supposed to leave your
roadway.
garbage to be picked up.
You put
Wait,
it,
are you talking about disposable bags that were filled with yard work?
Your Honor, I
Yeah.
was just doing.
I'm just asking a question before we go any further.
yes, yes, and it belongs in a trash can.
And it belongs in a trash can. But if you're putting trash from yard work into a disposable bag, and then that disposable bag ultimately will go in a trash can, isn't that how it works? Or am
Yeah, but
I
correct.
crazy?
That's correct.
He had several bags out there, and so
You weren't happy that those bags didn't find their way to the trash can in a timely fashion.
well, we have a very neat neighborhood.
But you see, Your Honor, this
until
is-
these people started moving in.
And this is the type of thing we have to deal with, Your Honor. So I even.
Stop. What do you mean when you say these people?
Coming up on America's Court.
You drew a comparison between what you observed with Mr. Douglas with things you've seen on television where there's some sort of criminal element.
Well,
He's engaging in typical neighbor behavior. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Howard Collins, who is suing Sally Brighton for medical expenses.
I watch a lot of television.
You know exactly what you mean.
The news, and I see that these are the type of men that are criminals, and so I was very frightened when I saw him, this gentleman, trying to break into the house next door to me.
Wow, for real?
I want to explore that. I got this. When you saw Mr. Collins cleaning up his yard, he is a property owner because he purchased the house, I assume. Is that correct?
Yes.
So he buys a house, and as a property owner of a house, he's outside cleaning his yard.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have an issue with that?
Not with him cleaning the yard, no.
Because if he weren't cleaning the yard and the yard had weeds and it was overrun, that probably wouldn't sit well with you because that would affect your property value. Am I correct?
Correct.
So a neighbor cleaning up their yard would be considered a positive thing. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yes. You would not have chosen to clean it in the way that Mr. Douglas chose to clean it in terms of his methodology.
Correct.
Okay. He was engaging in typical neighbor behavior.
Yes.
Okay. You drew a comparison between what you observed with Mr. Douglas engaging in typical neighbor behavior with things you've seen on television where there's some sort of criminal element.
Well,
Yes.
there's a lot of young men like
Okay.
that in my neighborhood.
So what I
now.
need you to do for me, I need you to connect the dots with I have someone, and you immediately connect that to criminality.
No, it wasn't that. It was when I saw him breaking in.
We're not talking about Mr. Collins. I'm talking about Mr. Douglas.
I know.
And him engaging in typical routine neighbor
No, I wasn't thinking he
behavior.
was a criminal at that point.
But what I'm saying is when you were conveying the information to me, you made a leap from what you observed to criminality. I'm just trying to understand, how did you get there?
From the break-in next door.
Okay, before that, you didn't have any opinion of Mr. Douglas, did you? Because you said these people.
Oh, she's had opinions.
Sir.
Sorry.
Now you're interrupting me.
Sorry, Your Honor.
You said these people, and your first interaction with Mr. Douglas was one, do you recall exchanging words with him while he was out with his yard?
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall conveying to him, are you going to put those trash bags in the trash can?
I did say they belong in the trash can.
Okay, so you recall saying to him, you know that belongs in the trash can.
Yes.
Do you recall that conversation?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay. So it was relatively early on that you met him outside and you were like, oh, this is my new neighbor, right? You don't ever recall meeting Mr. Collins?
No.
There was never a time when they knocked on your door and said, hey, we're the new neighbors?
No.
If they met somebody, it wasn't you?
That's right. It wasn't me. And there's nobody else in my home, so it wasn't me.
Got it.
Sir, I'm an old lady. I live by myself. I was scared.
Okay.
It frightened me.
Okay.
And I didn't want him breaking in to my house next.
Her Negro alert went off.
Sir,
Sorry.
you don't have to go there. Have you forgotten that I am a black man?
No, Your Honor, you're right.
Was there anything about the exchange that left an impression on your mind?
Yeah, Your Honor. She, first off, had a hard time looking at both of us in the eye. And she gave us a very quick, to me, judgmental up and down look. And it was very short, curt, you know, didn't
What did
have,
she say?
She just gave us a, hi, okay, good to meet you. This is a nice neighborhood. This is a family-friendly neighborhood, Your Honor.
And we like to keep it that way.
Yeah. And then she kind of just went on her way and didn't have too much words about it. And just,
Well, you're at her doorstep, so did she close the door at that point?
yeah, just kind of thank you, and left us
Did
standing.
the two of you have a conversation about that interaction?
I mean, we're black. We know. Like, we had the
Right.
conversation. We were just like, yo,
She's one of those.
she's one of them. Like,
This was an
Excuse
exchange
me?
the two of you all
Yeah,
were having.
yeah.
Ma'am, I'm not asking you a question now. I gave you a chance to talk. I'll come back. This was a conversation the two of you had with each other.
I mean,
And didn't think anything else of it.
I mean, we didn't need to think anything else of it, Your Honor.
I'm just saying there wasn't anything else that happened on that particular occasion that would have you come back to Ms. Brighton in terms of having any sort of thought. And then you all sort of moved on.
Yeah.
And then at some point you need to leave your residence and you want Mr. Collins to stay at the residence.
Correct.
Why did that happen?
I had to go to Virginia to do work at
Okay.
my aunt's house.
And you were going to be there for a period of time.
For about a week, Your Honor.
And you said, hey man, why don't you stay and watch my place?
Yes.
And you have your own place?
yeah, but, you know,
He was doing me a favor. Your
yeah, I
Honor.
was helping family out, man.
Okay.
His place
Yeah.
is nicer than mine. Yes, food. like good food, too, man. Like,
Yeah.
I ain't going
You
to pass
stopped
that
the
up.
refrigerator.
Coming up on America's Court.
This is the post from you, Mr. Douglas. I'm going to be out of town. My cousin Howard will be house sitting for me. He'll probably be in and out a lot, so I just wanted to let you all know. Very neighborly.
This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Howard Collins, who is suing Sally Brighton for medical expenses.
You making this agreement, and then you make it, and then you are getting ready to travel. You were saying something about an app.
It's a community-based app. It's a good chance to meet the neighbors and just be, you know, kind of welcoming with the community.
Was that already in effect?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you on the app?
I am.
Okay. You are on the app. So there's no disputing the fact that you're on the app and you're on the app.
Yes.
You've been on the app for some time.
Yes.
Got it. And what was it that you posted?
So I just posted to the community that I'm going to be going away. And
Why would you tell some random folks that
It's
you
just to
leave?
make everybody aware of the situation, and I was just letting my neighbors know that my cousin's going to be watching my house, Your Honor.
Oh, you're saying, FYI, this person's going to be in
Yes.
my place for this period of time.
Yep.
There is something about this posting that's in dispute here.
I don't think there's much
I don't
in
think there's
dispute,
anything
Your
in
Honor.
dispute. She saw it. Like,
She saw
it tells
it.
you who looks at
How
the...
do you know I
Yeah.
saw it?
We have the evidence.
Oh my God.
It tells a story.
Yeah,
It
and
tells a story.
You'll be seeing, Your Honor, too. It's not just that post that she saw. She's made her own posts about these people and the type of neighborhood she thinks she lives
This is
in.
the post from you, Mr. Douglas. I'm going to be out of town. My cousin Howard will be house sitting for me. He'll probably be in and out a lot, so I just wanted to let you all know. Very neighborly of you. Clear as day. Sally Brighton.
Well,
What do you
maybe
know?
I clicked on it, but I don't recall reading that.
Fair enough. But you posted also on the Nextdoor app. I remember when this used to be a good American neighborhood.
Coming up on America's Court.
Wow, they really are just letting anybody move into this neighborhood these days. Seriously, wish we could just say get out.
This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Howard Collins, who is suing Sally Brighton for medical expenses.
Now, these people, there's that term again, move in and are turning it into one of their ghettos. Disgusting! Exclamation point. The day that you lose the keys or you lock yourself out.
So,
talk to me.
Go to work, come home, and I'm like, oh man. So I left the keys. Honestly, I just went around to look, just kind of peeked my head in, nothing. And then all of a sudden, woo, 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 cops. I'm trying to tell them, like, I'm the cousin. They don't listen, they handcuff me and they throw me in the car. And they took me to jail. And some dude comes up to me, he's like, hey. And I'm like, yo, man, I don't want none of that. I'm just trying to evaluate my life, how I got here. The dude, like, yokes up on me and pushes me into the wall. And I bump my head. I end up getting, like, a big old laceration. I have to go to the hospital.
All right, so this is for trauma. You've been in therapy.
Yes, Your Honor.
You have to get an emotional support animal. This is you and the little dog?
Yeah, that's my emotional support dog, Chloe. It's been tough. Like since everything's happened, it's I can't sleep. I had my first panic attack. Like a cop pulled up and I felt it and I honestly thought I was dying.
Yeah,
I see you, Miss Brighton. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just looking at you.
I'm not asking for anything other than the damages that she caused me by not even, talking to me.
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
What is the legal issue that you're raising here?
Discrimination.
Discrimination usually takes the form of like a workplace situation. If someone's at someone's house and they're trying to open doors and jingle windows, and that's suspicious activity that a crime is afoot, as they say legally. How do you then say she's civilly responsible for committing a tort that you should be compensated for? Now, as a brother to a brother, I get it, but based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, you can't meet your burden as to why she should be civilly liable for what the police did. That does not negate that I am very clear that you did engage in racially discriminatory behavior.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
It's not about apologizing to me, because I didn't spend time in custody having to deal with a situation that would be traumatic. You're apologizing to the wrong black man.
Well, they've been
Your matter's dismissed. And whatever you feel like you need to say afterwards, have at it. Case closed.
All rise.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been dismissed.
You don't know the stress that I've been dealing with since this all happened. I've been very stressed.
I can't even talk to this woman. I can't.
Well, I have to live next to you, so stress with that.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.